Yeah, a game a little bit with two faces, if you can call it like this. We started very well, very quick in a 1-0 lead. We kept on pressing to go forward, to score a second one. Defensively, we did very well first half as well, and not conceding opportunities or goals, and sometimes dropping into a mid-block and then in transition coming out. In possession at times we did very well also going forward. So first half I think I'm very, very pleased in what we showed, the intensity of the work rate, the quality at times on the ball as well. Yeah, and then you go 2-0 up, and then of course you're very happy, but you need to be solid. You need to be aware of the quality of the opposition as well and what they can do, what they can bring. But what happens with the team a lot of times in soccer, if you're 2-0 up and you've got the feeling that there's more to get, then sometimes you get overconfident at times, and then sometimes you lose that ball and the opposition comes out in transition and they score, and then it's 2-1 when you go into half time. Then it's a different situation. Of course they get a red card, they could have had maybe 2 or 3. If you see the tackles, any other game, if it's been made in the box, then the decisions are being quite harsh. But well, it's how it is. So you need to keep on going. Second half, you talk about what you need to do against 10 men in possession, to be very calm on the ball, to keep possession. Because at the end of the day, if you keep possession, you wear them out, they get tired, spaces will occur, you create opportunities more, and then you can take your opportunities. But it's not like you need to score within the 47th minute. No, even when you can score in the 94th or the 90th minute, the third one, that's enough as well. But you still see that sometimes you want to go forward when we have possession, you want to go forward, you want to do it quick. You're taking risk. Is it risk? Yeah, risks in possession at times too much, so you give the ball away too quick. And then you make it easy for the opposition, because then in transition they can come out, they can play. We decide second half at times to drop a little bit more. Well, we spoke, and what we needed to do is just press and step up and be brave as well. The only thing is, for a player, when they have yellow cards, they don't want to concede a second one. So sometimes they're not as aggressive as in the first half. So that gives the opposition more time on the ball to open up, and try to be convincing them for them to go forward, because they've got nothing to lose. They're 2-1 down, so they need to put everything on everything to make that equalizer. We've got something to lose, and then you see that sometimes the game changes a little bit in what you need to do. It's also a given that sometimes when you play against 10 men, it is more difficult than to play against 11. The only thing is, tonight that shouldn't be the case, because in possession you needed to do just a little bit better in keeping that ball a bit more, to be a bit more cleverer in certain situations, so you can get more out of it. That's why I'm saying two faces in terms of first half very good in what you're showing. Second half, we just didn't do what we needed to do to make it more difficult for them to score that third goal. And then you can see when you're not doing that, and that's in sports in general, you need to be consistent in what you're trying to do.
All right, we're going to open a few questions. Pat, you can get started, please.
Hey, Jaap. Last week at Houston, Tab Ramos, the Houston manager, was very complimentary of how you guys just kind of killed the game off. How did you tonight view the job of trying to kill the game off against Columbus? What were some of the challenges you encountered in doing that?
You don't need to, against 10 men, make certain subs to kill the game off in terms of like keeping that leads. The thing is, from the start, if you from the start in second half start well in what you need to do and what you have been doing, then there shouldn't be a problem, with all due respect of course for the opposition, because the opposition, they've got a good team, they've got good players, we all know that. But when you're when you have one player extra in possession, you should make a difference in second half, and that's what we didn't do well enough in the second half. And then you can see as well that if you're not focused enough at times when you lose that ball, there's a ball between Eddie and Gustavo. Gustavo's positioning is not right. The striker runs in between that gap and he finishes it off, and it's a good goal, but the situation before we should have handled better. So basically by managing a game is also about what can you deliver as a team in that particular second half, or even in the first half, and maybe scoring even more goals.
Go ahead, Laura.
Can you take us through their goals, especially the one right before halftime? How did that change, especially having just gone down a man, for them to score in that stoppage time period? How did that change the conversation at halftime? And then can you also just take us through both those goals?
Yeah, it changes the conversation a little bit, because you might understand as well that when they go to 10, that you normally talk about, okay, keeping possession and to be confident on the ball, and just, like I said before, just keep the ball until maybe half-time, and then talk about half-time what we can do. The thing is, and that's what you see when they go to 10, that we're playing very offensive afterwards. So you see that a lot of players are playing in front of the ball, basically. And when you then lose it, there's gaps for them in transition, because they dropped into a 4-4-1 for their midfield players to run with the ball going forward and then, create. So that gives difficult situations. So after that, you need to be in what you're doing yourself. Your setup needs to be right as a team, and you need to manage that at times as well during a game. So then you play with two holders more or less, basically, because you can keep possession. And when you lose the ball, the two holding midfield players can step in and win that ball back together with the two fullbacks when they play a little bit deeper. The only thing is that we kept on playing with one holder and then two higher up in between lines. And when you then lose it, there's big gaps in between the lines, because they defend in two banks of four and one up top, so they can run towards our goal. And that's the thing. That's also a thing that you need to learn as a team, as a young team with young players as well, in how to handle a game, how to manage a game. If you want to go there, to not give away these goals, because you understand as well, if you concede just before halftime, it gives you a different feeling as a team as well.
Okay, we have a question here in the back.
Hi, Mr. Stam.
Hi.
In Spanish, he translate for me in English.
Okay.
This is Noticias Cincinnati in Spanish. Felicitaciones, 4 partidos sin perder. Estuvimos muy cerca del triunfo en casa. ¿Qué fue lo que faltó o qué falta para matar un partido y darle la alegría a la afición de Cincinnati?
He said that congratulations on first place, because we were very close to obtain the victory. But at the end of the day, what happened? That Columbus was tying the game.
Yeah, well, you could have seen it. You were there. So they scored the second one. Yeah, the thing is, we were very close, but not close enough, because certain things we needed to do better second half. I just spoke about it before. If you're one man extra, and if you keep the ball better in possession, you can dominate the game more instead of giving it away too often second half. And then you make it easier at times for the opposition to win the ball back, so they can go forward. And then because everybody is open when you have possession, so they take up different positions, so it means that they need to sprint back into defensive position, and that sometimes it can take a while, and it gives the opposition time to move forward quicker. So, and then they scored the second goal as well. So we were close, and we should have ended the game ourselves in a positive way.
We'll have our last question here with Jana.
Yeah, I'm wondering how you and the team felt about the draw. Obviously, it's a result here at home, different than what you guys have got before, but was there a level of disappointment given how you started the game?
Well, you can say that. There's big disappointment, because we're having a good momentum. You can see that the team is making progress in what they're doing. You know how they started the game as well. If you go 2-0 up, it doesn't mean automatically that you're of course going to win that game, because the opposition have quality as well, and they've got good players. They can play in a certain way as well. The only thing is that you need to, like I said, you need to take your opportunities better. And then when you go against 10 men, you need to exploit that better as well. And then when you still concede 2 goals, one in first half and one second half, you can understand that there's a big disappointment with players, with ourselves, with everybody. The only thing that we don't need to forget is where we're coming from, because it's not like, okay, now we need to think that we are like we can win everything. No, we're still a team that's humble, but we're working very hard to get success, to get results. And now for 4 games we have been unbeaten. We've been doing very well. We're making progress. The intensity is getting better. The way of playing is getting better. We create every game opportunities to score, so that's a very positive one. But we're also in defensive situations. You see as well. Yeah, we still need to have that click, and we still need to learn certain things a little bit more as well. But yeah, that comes with the territory if you're making steps, and if you have players also from a certain age that need to adjust to everything.
Disappointed, obviously, not getting 3 points. Just a little naive, simple mistakes, kind of undoing of ourselves, really. But Columbus is a good team, good players. And they made it difficult for us in the second half. First half we were on it, and we played some good football. And obviously, it's the tale of two halves. We need to be better. We need to close out the game in a 2-0 situation. Obviously, their first goal was a great strike and kind of against the play essentially, but we lose the ball in particular areas. They have good players to hurt us, and disappointing, but it's still a point. It's still in a positive way, unbeaten, you could say, essentially, but it definitely feels like a loss.
Jana?
You mentioned the tale of two halves, I guess. So what do you think, got the best of you guys in the second half?
I think maybe a little anxious, nerves. A few players on yellow cards, and a little bit more cautious, you could say, and kind of thinking the ref might do something to even up the red card. Just little things. We got to be a little bit more ruthless in the final third. We had some good opportunities, see the game out, and we should have closed shop, and it should have been 3 points. But you can't take anything away from Columbus. They have good players, play good football, and like I said, it's just disappointing.
Did you feel like you guys were just trying to hold on to that lead at that point, or was there just a shift in mentality once you guys went up 2-0?
It kind of went back and forth. Second half, first 15 minutes or so, they had a few chances, and then obviously they get in the tying goal. And then they started dropping off when we had a little bit of possession, so it was kind of going back and forth essentially, especially the last 10 minutes or so. They were dropping deep. We were getting some good chances, finding spaces on the left and right side of their 18, but obviously falling short of the final product, putting the ball in the back of the net, and that's just been kind of, we started off on flames essentially. A couple minutes in, what better start to a derby, and it's just disappointing. But saying that, you can take positives out of this. Like you said, we're unbeaten, and it's another point in a positive way. Essentially, still climbing up the table. We're not dropping, not losing the game. So we're definitely improving in that aspect.
Hi, Geoff. Rob Pierce, Cincinnati Soccer Talk. This is your first look at this rivalry, this derby, and I was just wondering what your impressions were from your first look. It seems like it was pretty physical out there at times.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the enthusiasm and the importance of this game. Obviously, Columbus, Cincinnati, rivalry there, and my first time playing in this. I've played in a bunch of derbies before, so I kind of know what to expect essentially. I know there's going to be physicality, there's going to be decisions made by the referee, and things that you can't control essentially. And I think we just have to be better at understanding that control the things you can control. You go up to 2-0 in the beginning of the game, we should be able to see the game out. But there's always going to be something in a game where it's a rivalry, and there's some tension there between the two cities, you could say. And they had a good fan base there today, and you could hear them. and obviously you could hear our fans as well. So it's great for the sport. It's great for a match like this, and it's good experience overall.
Geoff, thanks for your time. I know it's dangerous for you to talk about officiating, but you did mention how the officiating affected the mentality, particularly players on yellow cards in the second half there. Is there anything about this match, the way it flowed, that maybe you would have liked to have seen officiated differently, or whatever you think is the safest way to talk about it?
I mean, I'm not going to say anything to shoot myself in the foot. But no, I mean, there could have been calls that had been made in the beginning of the game or whatever that would have changed the way, possibly the outcome. But saying that, could have gone either way. Essentially, my foul was like kind of my first foul, and I get a yellow card. Okay, then Yuya gets one, a tactical foul, and Edgar gets one, and okay, why does Edgar get one and the other guy doesn't? So you can question things, but it goes both ways. So you can't criticize the referee in that way. You just know that there's going to be situations like this in any match that we play this season, essentially, and that's what I'm saying of control what you can control, and those things are always going to be in question. And essentially, can I be a little bit more aggressive in certain things? Probably. Can Yuya, can Edgar, we can play a little bit more on the ropes, essentially, making a little bit risque tackles, you could say, but also you're playing on the side of the decision of the referee. So whether he gives you maybe a foul or another yellow card, and there's a sending off. So there's always those things that are kind of playing in the back of your mind throughout the match, and you have to make particular decisions like immediately in a game. So yeah, I wouldn't criticize in anyone in any way, but the referee calls it for both teams, and so we just know that it's going to be that type of scenario in that situation in a derby match like this.
Obviously going ahead 2 goals, and then kind of how things changed, giving up the goal before half.
We started off really well. We had the crowd behind us. We executed perfectly. We attacked them. We went, executed the wings. Isolated on the wings. We had runners in the box. Edgar was there for the rebound. We pounced right on them early on. And then later on in the half, we had a couple, breakdowns, a couple losses in the midfield, and that's when they were able to counter. Really, they didn't have much. That one popped out to Zella Ryan, and he does what he does. He hit it perfectly. And then coming to the second half, we wanted to come out and finish him off, but that's not how it went. They were pushing. They didn't let up. I felt we could have came away with the win, but that late little miscue, we ended up with a tie. I felt like we deserved a win. Bittersweet, but I'm still proud of the guys. That's 4 games unbeaten now, so we'll take it.
You kind of just beat me to my question, Joe, so I'll ask you another one. Did you feel like, even though, like Lucas, like you said, hit it really well on their first goal, Geoff Cameron was just in here. He said maybe the lapse there was letting the ball bounce free in that area of the field. Do you feel like, was that the moment where the game changed for you, or it wasn't one moment where the game changed?
Yeah, that definitely gave them a little bit of motivation. With a team like that, any inch they'll take it. But I just feel like we could have taken a bit more control in the second half, with them being a man down. We could have controlled possession a little bit more, but easy to say after the fact.
Yeah, I was going to go off of something Geoff said as well. He said this feels like a loss almost. How does the team feel after this, and do you agree with that in a way?
Yeah, we wanted to win our first game at home, especially against these guys. We had it. We could almost taste it a bit, and I think that's kind of what got us. Later on in the game, we were forcing the ball a little bit too much. They're a man down. We could have just kept the ball, tired them out a little bit. yeah, it definitely does feel like a loss, but we can't, lose our heads over this. Still got another game on the weekend. Like I said, still unbeaten, so we just got to keep going. Yes.